Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. We're back from the All-Star break. We got 15 games tonight. Join us, everyone.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm trying to...
All right. Hi, everyone. It's the All-Star. The All-Star break's over. We had a week off, and now we're back. It's Monday, July 20th, and we got 15 games on the card tonight. Things are always, expect the unexpected a little bit. First week back from the All-Star break, things can change in terms of bullpens, lineups, even extra rest can help or hurt various starting pitchers. So we'll talk about all this. We go down everything game by game. Atlanta, they look like they might be turning it around in the second half. They were slumping for a while, but it'll be a good show. And we got, hold on, let me just make sure everything is here. And we'll go over all 15 games. Just give me a moment here. Go over all 15 games. And we will, there are some things I'm thinking about. I think Mizorowski is going to benefit from the break. He was giving up some home runs at the very end of the first half, and then he skipped the All-Star break. So I think it might be worth a shot for Mizorowski to revert back to his superhero form in today's game. At the very least, take like a first five money line at anything better than minus 200. So I think we're going to do that. Let me make sure I got everything up here, and we'll start in a second. Hold on. Whole lot of games here. Let me check the lineups, make sure everything is good. Looks like the weather in Wrigley, the game was maybe going to be postponed, but it looks like now it's going. All right, I think we're good. Yeah, first game on the card has Ryan's. Let's start in with it. Minnesota and Cleveland. We got 15 games. We're going to keep a brisk pace here. Minnesota and Cleveland. Ryan against Bibee. Oh, wait. I need a second to pull up my my notes here. Ryan against Bibee. Ryan, of course, I can speak off the top of my head. Ryan, of course, pitched in the All-Star break. I pitched in the All-Star game, had a nice inning there, and his two starts before the All-Star break were absolutely lights out. Ton strikeouts, so things are looking great for Ryan right now. Although, he had an excellent first half, but not without his duds. He had a dud maybe 20% of the time in the first half of the season. Is that going to happen here? Not exactly sure. And then Bibee starting for Cleveland, very up and down in the first half, high volatility. He had some starts where he looked absolutely horrific. And then, a bunch of starts as well where he looked, close to lights out, very impressive. And of course, Minnesota overall has excellent hitting numbers against righties. So Minnesota first half here is kind of obvious and no-brainer-ish. The line, I guess, was a little bit low, suspiciously so, although I would give, that's for full game, I would give Cleveland a pretty big bullpen edge here. I like Cleveland's bullpen in general. Minnesota is much more mediocre, mid-range, whereas Cleveland's I would rate, top 10, arguably top 5 on any given day. Let's look at the comment section. Shout out Swiggy Bets. Shout out Jermaine. All right, so let's see what happened with this line. Yeah, so it's moved not that, just a little bit in Minnesota's favor here. Full game, that is. And again, I like Minnesota first 5 a lot more than full game. And of course, the first 5 line is way, way more expensive than full game. And I guess I just won't overthink it. I'll take Minnesota first 5. Question is, do I want to do the money line at minus 148 or the run line? The thing is that Bibee, when he's good, can be very good. Probably I should take the run line, but I'll just make the money line. The official pick, start off with that. Minnesota Twins, first 5 innings, money line, minus 148, current line at Pinnacle. That's about 20 or 25 cents more expensive than Minnesota full game. Definitely would be considered, depending on how deep Ryan goes, would consider betting Cleveland live after the starters are out. Let's see. Jermaine likes Twins money line. Yeah, 1 at home, 1-10 at home with Bibee. Yeah, I mean, look, if Bibee outpitches Ryan for 5 innings, good for him. I'll take my chances. It certainly could happen, though. Certainly could happen. I don't love this bet, but I like it a little bit, and we'll take that one. It's always a little bit dicey to take a guy like Ryan who just closed the first half awesome, and then had a great inning in the All-Star game, and then his first start back in the second half is not a huge favorite line on the road, looking very no-brainerish. That's very iffy and always a little bit treacherous, but I'll take it anyway. Minus 148 money line. I'll take it. I'm not going to take his strikeouts prop, even though obviously he gets a lot of Ks and Cleveland does strike out a lot against righties. Ryan doesn't always have huge numbers, so I don't want to triple or quadruple up here. I do think though that his outs prop is worth a shot, even at a huge favorite line, but I don't think I'll make that an official pick just because it is such a massive favorite line. But he's extremely likely, I think, to go 6 innings. It's almost minus 200 for that one, so I won't make that one an official pick or even an official lean. And then just also, of course, Ryan earn runs under 2.5 at a big favorite line, and the first 5 team total under for Cleveland, which is just 1.5, are both very tempting and statistically probably have some value. But I think I'll hold off on both of those. Let me see. Let's see. Jermaine, Nasty Nate, shout out Nasty Nate, talking about the Red Sox. Yeah, the Red Sox off a sweep. We will talk about that game. What did I think about that game? Oh, I think I liked the first 5 over. We will get to that game. That's an interesting one because, of course, the Red Sox were much better on the road in the first half and had weird issues at home psychologically, but started off the second half with a 4-game sweep. And that is no joke right there. Congrats to Red Sox and all their backers in those games. All right, so maybe I just won't overthink this and just keep one play here. Minnesota. Let's see what the total did. If anything, the total were 7.5, slightly juiced to the over. It's low 80s weather. I'd be leaning under if anything, but of course you're going to have Bybee to not get hit. And statistically, Bybee under 5.5 hits actually has some value. The thing is here that my numbers like Ryan a lot, but also like Bybee a bit. So, under 5.5 hits from Bybee, I don't know if I could recommend that, but statistically, there is some value there. He definitely, when he's good, he's definitely hit suppressing. And even when he's bad, he sometimes sneaks under his hits prop as well. So yeah, now it's gotten bet even further down. So under 5.5 hits had some value. Thought about that. But that's it. And then just a lean to the under as well even at the low total of 7.5. Let's see. Yeah, the under is definitely has some value according to my numbers here. And all right, we'll make that a lean, not an official pick, but a lean. Full game under. We'll do 8 minus 123. Current line Pinnacle. Full game under 8 minus 123. Current line Pinnacle. That's a lean, non-official pick, and we'll move on. Next game, a very interesting one here. Dodgers and Philly. This is an interesting one because, of course, Chris Sanchez starting for Philly, and when he's in top form, which he is most of the time these days, he's almost unhittable, Bob Gibson style. But he definitely has been shaky recently, and he got hit in the All-Star game. 3 of his last 6 starts heading into the break were not good, although he has an extreme home road dichotomy. And even at the end of the first half, when he wasn't doing well, all of his bad starts were on the road, and he had 2 home starts in that span, and they were still both excellent starts. 0 and 1 run starts. So Sanchez, showing a little bit of, some questionable results heading into the All-Star break, but continuing to just be flat out awesome at home. So there's a few things statistically that I like. On the other side, you have Sheehan for the Dodgers, vulnerable at times, but his last 3 heading into the break were good. He's an extreme fly ball guy, though, and so this is nice hitting weather, so that's not great for him. Low 80s, upper 70s, high humidity. So, statistically, Sheehan should be pretty vulnerable, and Sanchez statistically should be good. Statistically should be good. But that's because my way of analyzing numbers, it does account for home road, but it doesn't account for extreme dichotomies evening out that much. So it doesn't count for Sanchez's horrific recent road appearances being indicative of worse home appearances going forward a lot. And maybe I should adjust it a bit. But so my numbers like Sanchez here. My numbers see Sheehan is very vulnerable. Both bullpens, excellent statistically, top 5. So kind of a wash. If anything, maybe a small edge to Philly, but both just excellent. So excellent bullpens. It's a tricky one here. Definitely was liking Sanchez under 5.5 hits at plus money, and I think I might have to make that one an official pick because when he's good, he suppresses hits tremendously, and of course the Dodgers great. Let's see what the comment section has to say about this one. Shout out Old D, shout out FSMZ from the Vol. SMT from us. Philly by murder today. Look, yes, if we get anything close to top form Sanchez, yes. If by murder you mean by 4 or more, yes, that is entirely possible. Dodgers a tired man. Yes, they also played a doubleheader. I forgot to mention that. Shout out Old E. Yeah. So again, statistically, let's see where this line moved. Philly was and the line is not moved, which is a little bit suspicious, right? Philly was about minus 140 or so on the overnight line, and now they're still hanging right around there. 140 or so, and the total's gotten bet up a half run. It was 8 juice to the over, and then now it's 8.5 slightly juice to the over. So, add that all up. The market is not expecting necessarily a strong 7-inning, 1-run start from Sanchez, because if it was, the Philly line would have gotten bet up. The total probably would have held where it was. Or if it held where it was, then the Philly line would have gotten bet way, way, way up. So the market is not very, inspiring to someone who's expecting a murder by Philly, as was so eloquently put. Let's see. Yeah. They get a lot of respect from the book. Says, yeah, they do. But so does Sanchez, though. So does Sanchez. And there are times when he gets a lot of respect and still doesn't get quite as. I mean, I've given Sanchez road favorite lines at minus 200 in this show. They've cashed. So the market is not afraid to give Sanchez a lot of respect too, no doubt about that. But I think I can't not take Philly -1 as an official play. Probably should too. I don't know. Maybe -1 out, but I'll just make it official. Philly -1, about even money right now at Pinnacle. The money line is -137, run line +145. So that's a little bit better than even money for the Phillies -1, and I will make that an official pick. And I think I have to give also the Sanchez hits prop under, even though, and that's a nice lineup he's facing, and he's definitely had some issues in recent starts. Sanchez. That's a high hits prop, which makes me nervous. It does make me nervous. We'll do it. We'll make that one official as well. Chris Sanchez under 5.5 hits at even money. Current line at Pinnacle. We'll make that official. See if anyone's saying anything in the comment section. Yeah, an interesting game. Statistically, also have a lean to Sheehan under 15.5 outs because again he should be vulnerable here. Dodgers do have a nice bullpen behind him, and Philly should be able to get to him at least to a certain degree. They should. They should. I could add that one on. Sheehan, under 15.5 outs. He should be a little bit vulnerable here. And it looks like that line has moved a bit. Should I make that official? Should I make that official? Philly should get to him. Philly should. He's been good, though. All right, I'll make that just a lean. Sheehan, under 15.5 outs, -121. Current line, Caesars. That's an official lean, not official pick. B-rated pick, just a lean, and that's it. The other two are definitely official picks. It is nice hitting weather, though, here. And maybe like a Philly first 5 team total over would be worth a shot. Let's see where that would be. Yeah, 2.5 at plus money. I mean, Sheehan's been good, though. He's been getting strikeouts, fly ball, extreme fly ball guy, which is not a good sign here, but he's still, last 3 heading into the break were good, getting strikeouts and everything. We'll just leave it at there. We'll just leave it right there, and we'll close this game out. Shout out to everyone in the comment section, letting us know what you think. Next game on the card, Pittsburgh and the Yankees. Ashcraft against Weathers. The Yankees lost 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. They didn't score in that series, and they also played the doubleheader yesterday with the Dodgers. So the Yanks slumping a little bit. They were a small favorite here on the overnight line. And Pittsburgh, a nice little team now. They've won 2 of 3 at Cleveland in their last series. They closed the half pretty well. They've had some offensive injuries in the first half that should have, hurt them a little bit. Didn't quite hurt them as much as maybe it should have. They hit lefties well. And my numbers indicated a little bit of value with Pittsburgh, at least first half. Ashcraft against Weathers. Both these guys have very high volatility. Ashcraft, high volatility, but of course can be good. He did get hit in his last start of the first half, and Weathers, the opposite. High volatility, had a great start in his last start of the first half. So also give a bit of a bullpen edge here to the Yankees. Yanks kind of like top 10. Pittsburgh more mid-range, maybe even a slightly below mid-range. So I'd give a bullpen edge to the Yanks. Pittsburgh hits lefties well, so statistically, Pittsburgh first 5 had some value. And let's see where this line has. Yep, so it's moved in Pittsburgh's favor, 15 cents. So pretty solid move towards Pittsburgh, and the first 5 even more. So we will make that one official. Pittsburgh Pirates. Should we take the money line or should we take the I'm not going to take the hat minus half line. Pittsburgh Pirates first 5 innings money line minus 108 current line at Pinnacle. That's an official pick. Pittsburgh Pirates first 5 money line minus 108. That's an official pick. And I also was leaning under at 8, juice to the under, and the total is pretty much right exactly where it was. So, both these guys, high volatility, each one could get hit hard here, but, nice bullpen edge for the Yanks, and definitely leaning under, and my numbers liked under, so maybe I'll just add that one on as an official lean. What do y'all think? Maybe I will. Yeah, I'll do that as well. Just an official lean. Pirates, Yankees, full game under 8 minus 115. That's an official lean, not an official pick. Numbers like it. And it's just both these guys can get lit. But even if one of these guys gives up 5 runs, you have a nice bullpen for the Yankees, a not terrible bullpen for Pittsburgh. Yeah, that should probably just be an official pick. What do you think? And the Yanks are, you know what? We'll make an official pick, not lean, a pick, official pick. Full game under 8 minus 115. Current line at Pinnacle. That is an official pick for me. Pittsburgh and the Yankees. He no ball. Love Pirates first 5 right with you. Yep, and the lineup is the market is liking that one as well. All right, next game on the card: Tampa Bay and Toronto. Nick Martinez against Dylan Cease. Tampa Bay got swept at Boston. They've had a very up and down. At times they were a train, winning 80% of their games over 85% of their games over a long span of time, and then they started to stink it up, Atlanta Braves style. They started off the second half getting swept in 4 at Boston, and the Jays also kind of iffy. They lost 2 of 3 at the White Sox against the White Sox. They weren't really hitting, and you got Nick Martinez against Dylan Cease. Cease, almost had a no-hitter in his start before the All-Star game, and then he had an awesome inning in the All-Star game. And Nick Martinez, we talked about him a lot, a crafty veteran who's a big change-up guy, getting nice results, sometimes close to lights out. More recently, he's been more mediocre at best, but in general, kind of impressive. He continues overall to be decent. Doesn't seem like Toronto's likely to chase him that much. I would give a decent bullpen edge here to Tampa Bay, though. And I was also leaning under in this one. And also even a lean to Cease over 7.5 strikeouts at plus money, even though, Tampa Bay can be hard to strike out. But, he just Cease when he's on his game, he's getting, 10, 9, and 8 is almost automatic. So, I did statistically, there's some value there. I don't know if I want to make that one an official play, but it's definitely interesting. Let's look at where the market has moved. Yeah, so Toronto was a bit of a suspiciously big favorite, like minus 145, minus 150 on the overnight, just because, Cease doesn't go that deep a lot of times. Martinez is fine. Tampa Bay in general, a good team, and a nice little bullpen edge to Tampa Bay. So it's interesting that Toronto was that big of a fave, and it looks like they've gotten bet, almost 20 cents even further. 15 or 20 cents in their favor. Minus 160 right now at Pinnacle. So Toronto, a huge favorite here. And the first 5 line is like minus 176, which, Cease is looking almost Mizorowski-esque right now. Tampa Bay, a bullpen edge. And so, it's interesting. And I would definitely leaning under even at 7.5, and it has moved in that direction. No doubt about it. So I think I'll have the cojones here to take the under. Full game under, make an official play, 7.5 minus 114 current line at Pinnacle. That's an official pick. Full game under, 7.5 minus 114 current line at Pinnacle. And Cease, of course, when he's good, he really suppresses hits. Almost had a no-hitter in his last start before the All-Star break. So my numbers indicate some value with Cease under 4.5 hits, even in the minus 170 range. But I don't know if I can endorse a play on that one as of right now. Just the under, on the game, full game under. Let's see. Yeah, that's Cease. It's so difficult when there's a big favorite prop like that has statistical value according to your numbers, but it just makes you so nervous, doesn't it? It really does. And Cease could get first start of the All-Star break. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to take the under. And can't even really take Toronto as the favorite full game. Or if anything, now I'm sure if I ran the numbers, it would say Tampa Bay is the side with some value, especially with their bullpen edge. I definitely don't have the cojones to pull the trigger on that Tampa Bay because Cease is so great. Tampa Bay stinking it up right now. Definitely interesting, though. Definitely pretty interesting. Yeah, we'll hold off on that one. We'll hold off on the Rays. Although I would love to pull the trigger on the Rays, full game money line plus 147. Go against this friggin' move here. Yeah, we're not going to do it. But it's interesting. Just the under, but definitely leans to Cease under 4.5 hits. Not official leans, but just numbers indicate value with Cease under 4.5 hits, even at like minus 170, and probably some value with Tampa Bay full game, not first 5. All right, next game on the card. Let's get to it. Here we go. Baltimore and Boston. Again, Boston, first half of the season was not too bad on the road, terrible at home, but they're coming off a 4-game sweep at home of Tampa Bay. Very impressive. Baltimore playing well as well, though. They swept a 3-game low-scoring series at Houston, so they're playing well right now. 2 excellent pens here. I have two bullpens rated very highly for this one. It is kind of nice hitting weather, and then you got Shane Baz against Tolley, and Tolley is good. Sometimes does get hit, and it looks like they're limiting his workload as well. Shane Baz, he's often not terrible, usually at least a little vulnerable, does, sometimes get crushed. A lot of times has high strikeout numbers, so Baz is okay, but never lights out. He usually gives up at least a little bit, and my numbers indicated like first 5 and first 3 overs with some value, and also Tolley under 15.5 outs. And that was a little bit, art and science with that one because Tolley, he could easily get hit here. And if he does, they'll pull him. But it seems like they're not letting him go deep. They want to manage his workload. So if he has like a solid 5-inning start where his pitch count is a little bit high, entirely possible because his strikeouts prop is very high, I could easily see them yanking him with, 85 pitches or something after an excellent high strikeout 5-inning start, or if he gets crushed, then the outs prop goes under. So I like the outs prop. Jay Stone says a great spot for Baltimore here. Yeah, I mean, Baz not terrible, but usually at least a little vulnerable. Tolley good, but probably won't go deep. Both bullpens, yeah, and you're getting a dog line with Baltimore. My numbers indicated that one of these starters is more likely than not to get touched. So let's see where the market has moved, and then we'll make some decisions here. Yeah, so Boston, wow. Big market move in favor of Boston, like a 15-cent move in favor of Boston. The overnight line, they were minus 140. Now they're all the way up to like minus 155 or so. So a clear 15-cent line move in favor of Boston. Yeah, I would agree that I disagree with that move. At the current lines, I don't see how you could not take Baltimore. Both these, it's just like strength against strength. And the total has gotten bet up a bit. Yeah. 8.5. Well, not that much, but a bit. Total's gotten bet up a little bit, which I would agree with. And the first 5 over, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on. Baz not likely to be lights out. Tolley could. Tolley's lights out for like 5 innings, and Baz doesn't give up 4 or 5 runs. Okay, fine. I could take 4 at minus 164 or 4.5 minus 121. Yep. I'm going to take the 4. Here we go. At Pinnacle. First 5 innings, over 4, minus 164. Current line Pinnacle. Not taking the 4.5 at minus 121. That's a little bit risky. You're paying a little bit for that, but, kind of low volatility with Baz in a not great way. He rarely is lights out. He should give up a few. Tolley, kind of the same way, very good. Sometimes it's lights out, but doesn't go deep. Jay Stone says, don't drink the Kool-Aid on the Red Sox after one series. All right, yeah. So we're going to take first 4 over 4, minus 164. Current line at Pinnacle. And we might just leave it there. Although, yeah, the Tolley outs prop, I do like that one. I think maybe I do have to make that one at least a lean. I have to make that one at least a lean. Tolley under 15.5 outs because, again, could get touched. He's good, though. I mean, I like him. It's just that they clearly are trying to manage his workload, and it's not a high line here. So, all right, we'll make it just a lean. Not an official pick, but a lean. Tolley under 15.5 outs, minus 107. Current line Caesars. That's a second level pick. Official lean, not official pick, but official lean, definitely. And we'll take that one. Also, statistically, Baz under a 17.5 outs, but I don't like that one as much. And yeah, so that's about it. I guess the first 3 over. I don't know if I want to, quadruple up on this one or whatever. Yeah, the first 3 over 2.5 minus 105 probably has some value as well, but we won't take it. Just the first 5 over at buying down to 4 at what I did. And let's move on. Next game on the card is San Diego and Atlanta. Okay, San Diego and Atlanta. JP Sears against Elder. This is a very tricky one. Atlanta, obviously a great team, and then they really were stinking it up for a lot of the second part of the first half. But then they won 2 of 3 against Texas in their most recent series. Their offense was great in all 3 games. They looked like they might be picking it up. San Diego lost 2 of 3 at KC, but they won 19-2 yesterday. Looks like a great spot for Atlanta because they're going up against JP Sears, who had a great 5-inning start to the Dodgers 2 starts ago, but in general should be vulnerable. The problem is Elder is starting for Atlanta. And over his last 7 starts, he's pretty much gotten crushed. He's not one of these guys who's like has, 4 good ones, 3 starts we got crushed, and you can just bet into some volatility. Some of those 7 starts were not as terrible as others, but as a group, they're just horrific. Horrific starts from Elder. So it's really tough to pull the trigger on Atlanta at like minus 150. And I didn't quite understand it. I guess if I was going to take Atlanta, I'd take a shot, of course, with -1 or -1.5. Thinking about the first 5 over as well, because, again, San Diego coming off a 19-run win, don't really love an offensive explosion from them. And then JP Sears should be vulnerable, but he did have a really nice 5-inning start at the Dodgers 2 starts ago. So that's tempting. And actually, statistically, Sears over 3.5 strikeouts at just -140 had some value. Not exactly sure why Sears' strikeouts prop was so low. And Elder's earned runs prop, I don't know if it's gotten bet up, but his earned runs prop was 2.5, slightly juiced to the under, which is crazy. Over those last 7 starts, 6 of those went over 2.5 earned runs, some of them way over, and the only under was 2. So the market giving Elder a ton of respect, which is certainly possible. After the All-Star break, things get shaken up, and guys like Elder, especially guys like Elder with the pedigree who has a history of being, excellent. A 7-inning shutout start from Elder here would not be any kind of a shock or surprise or anything like that. But they're giving him a lot of credit. This friggin' is still a pinnacle. It hasn't gotten bet up. 2.5 earned runs for Elder, juiced to the under. I think I might have to pass on this one. He no ball likes Padres money line. Yeah, let's see where these lines have moved, and then we'll move on. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, okay. So a huge move towards San Diego. Maybe someone's out for the Braves that I didn't catch, because that's a massive move. They were -150 on the overnight line, and now it's -115 or so, or sorry, -120 or 125 or so. So like a 25-cent move in favor of the Padres, which I don't know. I saw the opening line. I just thought, how in the hell can any team, I don't care who you are, be -150 with Elder starting? And maybe it's just the market was wrong and it got slammed down. Yeah, and the total hasn't moved much at all. 9 juice to the over on the overnight, 9 juice to the over right now. And I think maybe we'll just leave it right there. Hino Ball likes Padres money line. BT, shout out BT, 566, baby. I think we'll just maybe we'll just leave it right there. Pass on the whole thing. Sears looks vulnerable, could be okay. Elder, horrible, but it is the All-Star break. Market giving him a lot of credit. Atlanta definitely looks like they're about to start improving into the second half. And, yeah. The Atlanta team total over, though, has value. It just got 4.5, -114, or the first 5, 2.5. All right, I'm just going to pass on the whole thing. Love to take a shot with the Atlanta team total over, though. Atlanta team total over. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. The Sears over 3.5 strikeouts. He's not expected to go deep, but he should have roughly as many, strikeouts as innings here. That one hasn't moved, I'll make that one a lean, not a pick, but in the official lean category, Sears over 3.5 strikeouts, -141. That's not a pick, but that is a lean, an official lean. And we'll just leave it right there. Next game on the card, the Mets and the Brewers. It's Mizorowski day. Mizorowski didn't pitch in the All-Star game. He also skipped his final start of the first half due to arm fatigue. And his last 3 starts before the All-Star break, he was still getting as many strikeouts as before, but he was giving up home runs. He was not having those vintage, 2-hit shutout 6 or 7 inning starts with like 12 strikeouts. The strikeouts were pretty much there, but he was giving up home runs. So he probably did have some arm fatigue. You know, he is still a young guy. He's not, in fact, a superhero. He is, in fact, a human being. So fatigue could come into play with this guy at some point this year, right? You know, what to expect from him here, not exactly sure, but I have to give him extreme benefit of the doubt. Going up against Peralta, who, of course, you know, played with Milwaukee last year and was great. This year, though, it's just not going well for him. He sometimes is okay, but overall, just not good. The Mets did win 2 of 3 at Philly. Maybe they'll start improving in the second half. That's nice. And Milwaukee swept Miami, which is very impressive. I would, you know, maybe a small bullpen edge here to Milwaukee, although that's debatable. But that's not really the issue. The issue here is exactly what are we going to get from Mizorowski, and a little bit is Peralta. Is there some kind of non-quantifiable factor of Peralta coming back and facing Milwaukee in the middle of a crappy year in the ballpark where he pitched so well last year? But yeah, so statistically, again, you know, Mets first 5 team total under has value. Peralta over 4.5 hits has value. I don't know why that line was so low. And then, of course, Milwaukee first 5 innings has value. And this line, of course, has gotten bet way up, like a 30-cent move in favor of Milwaukee. On the overnight line, it was in the 170s, and now it's up into the minus 200s. So about a 30-cent move in favor of Milwaukee. Cannot disagree with that at all. And, of course, the first half is about, you know, 35 or 40 cents more expensive than that. The minus a half run line is minus 146. So I don't know if I could give Milwaukee minus 239. I could have given them the first 5, you know, minus at the line when it opened. But now that it's up into the minus 240s, not exactly sure if I can do that. Let's see what people in the comments. Let's see. Hino Ball says Miz outs line was 17.5 out last night and juice to the over. Now 15.5 juice to the under. Straight pass for me. Yeah, that is true. I definitely caught that. The 17.5 minus 130 statistically had value to the over. It definitely caught my eye a little bit, and you're right. So now Mizorowski, wow. So he is. I'll tell you what. Right now, we don't like to use the L word in these shows, do we? But Mizorowski's outs prop was 17.5 minus 130 to the over. Now it's 15.5 juice to the under. This might be, and now it just came off the board. Okay, this might be a 5 innings or nothing. Even if he's throwing, you know, a 5-inning no-hitter with 15 strikeouts, they'll yank him. They might do that. That might be happening here because if he was expected to go less deep than that, they would not be putting it. The first 5 would not be where it is. So this is an interesting one. Have to decide if I want to make anything official here. Again, but Peralta over 4.5 hits. I didn't quite understand that. It was just statistically didn't quite make sense, and that has gotten bet up just a little bit. Maybe I'll add on the Peralta over 4.5 hits as a lean or something. Didn't quite make sense to me, that one, that little line there. Let's see where we are. Where is this game? Yeah, very interesting. Mizorowski definitely on some kind of pitch and or innings count here, no doubt about it. But interesting that Mizorowski's strikeouts prop has only gone down a little bit. It was 8.5 way juice to the over on the overnight line, and it's still 8.5, a little bit juice to the under, but it's still there. And his outs prop, is off at a bunch of the rec books. So yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting stuff here. All right, we'll make the Peralta hits prop over just a lean, over 4.5 hits, minus 148, current line Caesars. That's a lean, not a pick. We'll give him a little bit of respect here. But tricky game. Tricky game. And how about that old Mets first 5 team total under? Just Mizorowski to absolutely flamethrow for 5 innings. And wow. Oh, man, yeah. All right. Yeah, because he should be good. Mizorowski, he should be okay. He really should. You know, we're going to hold off. It's 1.5, the under minus 163. He did have some fatigue issues. He could give up a home run and the other 5 innings be just awesome. Zay Zone likes Miz 12 plus Ks, the Mets team total under. All right, we got to move on but this is just such an interesting game here. Such an interesting thing here is going on here. What is going on here? Crazy game here. Yeah. Peralta, the over hits. Maybe I mean, my numbers like that one. Well, we'll just keep it as a lean. Yeah, we're just going to keep it right where it is. The Mets team total 1.5. Can't quite pull the trigger on it, even though it does have some value. All right, that's it. We're going to pass on everything else. All right, let's move on now. We took a lot of time with that one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games to go. Not good. Faster pace. San Francisco and KC. Trevor McDonald against Michael Wacha. Mid-90s in KC, and Wacha, of course, pitched an inning in the All-Star game, but he did get hit hard in his starts before that. He's a fly ball guy. He might be vulnerable here. On the other side, you have Trevor McDonald, another guy with high volatility, sometimes great, sometimes gets crushed. His last 2 starts are exhibit A for that, right? His last start at home was excellent. Start before that, also in San Francisco, got crushed. So, KC won 2 of 3 against San Diego, but they lost the last one 19-2. The Giants lost 2 of 3 at Seattle. Now they're on the road to KC, and I'll give a nice little pen edge to KC as well. Statistically, San Francisco team total over had some value according to the way that I look at things at 4.5, and maybe I will pull the trigger on that one. Jared Jackson likes KC money line. Okay, it was when it opened, it was roughly even on both sides, and wow, look at that. Yeah, KC now a not tiny favorite, like minus 125 or so market wide. They opened it like minus 110, 105, and now it's up to like 122 at Pinnacle. So a pretty big market move in favor of KC, which is interesting. And the total hasn't really moved. 10.5, juice to the under slightly, and that's still where it is. So when I ran the numbers, the San Francisco Giants team total over at 4.5 had some value. Not sure if I want to necessarily pull the trigger on it now that the line has moved in KC's favor and the total has not gotten bet up. Statistically, pen edge to San Francisco. But yeah, pretty interesting game here. Let's see what people are liking here. Jared Jackson, KC money line. I can dig it. I can feel it. That's an interesting one. I really do kind of like the San Francisco team total over. Not a great spot for Wacha, I don't think, and the bullpen is what it is. All right, a little bit going against the market move, but I'll take it. San Francisco Giants. Team total over 4.5, full game minus 131. That's an official pick. Wacha can be good, but he can also get touched. Not a great bullpen behind him. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes up. Turns out, Giants, team total over 4.5, minus 131. That's an official pick, but a clear market move in favor of KC, which you cannot ignore, and no movement on the total. All right, let's look at the comment section and move on. Jared Jackson like KC money line. All right. Next one on the card, White Sox and Texas. Jake DeGrom against Fetty. Texas, a big favorite here on the overnight line. I haven't checked where it moved. I assume this is moved in the White Sox favor because, Texas is a nice little team, but they lost 2 of 3 at Atlanta. Now they're back home. The White Sox, they're just a scrappy team. They won 2 of 3 at Toronto. Toronto, no great shakes, but the White Sox are just a tough team. Anytime they're a big, underdog, I'm wondering why and looking to maybe bet them. I would give them a modest bullpen edge here as well against the White Sox. And obviously, based on the names, DeGrom against Fetty, huge starting pitching edge for Texas. And DeGrom has been okay. He was scratched from his last start on July 12th with an injury. And he's still overall good. His peripherals are good. He's still getting strikeouts. He's not really lights out that much. He usually gives up 2. Once in a while does get crushed. So he's good. But Fetty, give him credit. I know a lot of you in the comment section don't want to, but I'm afraid you're going to have to. He got decent results in June and July. Not too shabby. Not great. Far from great, but not too shabby. So adding it all up, and then you give a bullpen edge to the White Sox and maybe even a little bit of a team edge to the White Sox. And DeGrom had a low outs prop, was 15.5, juice to the over, but still. And I liked the White Sox here at the dog line. It really hasn't moved much. Still right around where it was when it opened, minus 160 or so. White Sox plus 147 at Pinnacle. Let's see what people are saying here. Yeah, Jared Jackson, DeGrom will pitch well, but got to watch out for Chicago. Absolutely. Would not all be surprised if DeGrom pitches well. Fetty a little bit less well. White Sox are down, maybe 1 or 2 when the starters come out. Then they got a fighting chance. I would definitely be looking to bet the White Sox live if you're getting a nice line and they're down. DeGrom, the periffs are there. So it's not like he's, it's not like, he's due for regression here, but I think we can expect going forward. And the White Sox are just, this is a good team given that big of a line. We'll make an official pick. Chicago White Sox, full game, money line, plus 147, current line, Pinnacle. That's an official pick. It's risky. That's why you're getting that big of a line there. But, DeGrom, and his outs prop, kind of low. Respect to DeGrom. He's been doing it. Strikeouts are there. Periffs are there. Home runs, not there. Walks, not there. So good for DeGrom. But we're going to take the White Sox at that line. And I was also leaning under. Let's see where that one, numbers indicated value with under at 8, slightly juiced to the under. Yeah. Now it's gone down just a little bit, but still kind of there. And we'll make that one an official pick as well. Full game under 8, minus 118, current line, Pinnacle. That's also an official pick. So hopefully we can cash at least one of them, if not both. That's an official pick. And then, of course, by deduction, the Texas team total under should have some value, but we're not going to take that one. Just White Sox on the money line, the under 8, minus 118, current line at Pinnacle. And we'll just leave it at that. Let's see. Anyone else? Jared Jackson. Yeah, good value. Agreeing with you. All right. Next game on the card, Detroit and the Cubs. This one, there was uncertain weather heading into it. There was definitely some serious rain that was possibly going to cause a delay here. But then the latest reports that I saw says that it's going to be mostly dry, probably not even a delay, and it is going to be hot and winds blowing out, but not super, maybe 10 miles an hour with some gusts higher, but not 15 or 20 as was reported earlier in the day when it was also reported that the game might be canceled. So we got Flaherty going against Taillon. Cubs were a very small favorite when I first looked at it, and of course a high total. I looked at everything, and I didn't look too deep because I was like, even if this game does play full, just not sure. All the lines looked roughly okay to me, and too much volatility to bet either of the pitching props. Detroit, nice team with their offense right now. They won 2 of 3 at the Angels. Now they're coming into to the Cubs. Cubs won 2 or 3 against Minnesota. They won 10-1 yesterday. 2 kind of subpar bullpens. So maybe a shot with the over. We'll see if that one has gotten bet. Flaherty against Taillon. Taillon coming back from the injured list. He's been out since early June. He has had a hamstring strain. Those things can linger. He wasn't really having a good season before it, but Taillon also is a guy who, has good pedigree. We give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, coming off of rest, off of an injury where it wasn't an arm injury. And he's just one of these guys who knows how to pitch. So I'm not eager to fade him, even though he, was having such a bad season before going on the IL. And on the other side, Flaherty started the season rough, but June and July were much better. His strikeouts have been up. So good for him. But of course, the Cubs lineup has been hitting a lot better recently, and they could touch him here. Although, mad respect to Flaherty for what he's been doing recently. So adding it all up, I think this is going to still be a pass for me, unless you want to take a shot with the over, which I couldn't disagree with it. No, I could disagree with it because Flaherty's been good, and Taillon has been good in his career. And this is a hell of a high total here, So right now, it's the Cubs a tiny, tiny favorite. Total's gotten that up just a little bit. It was 11, slightly juiced to the over earlier. Now it's more juiced to the over. Interesting game, and it's going to be a complete 100% pass for me. All right, let's move on. Next one, Miami against who are they playing? Miami against Houston. Yeah. Jansen Junk starting for Miami against Ronel Blanco, another guy coming back from the injured list. Although he was this is first start of the season, he had Tommy John surgery, and he last pitched in last year, 2025. He did make a bunch of rehab appearances that were okay. Strikeouts weren't really up; they were fine, but not a ton of them. But he suppressed runs. His overall rehab starts were good. Didn't give up any runs. He didn't go deep, but looked okay. And then I would also give a pretty significant bullpen edge here to Houston. Miami just got swept at Milwaukee. Houston got swept at Baltimore. So they're both coming off of sweeps. Jansen Junk, very, 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 very high volatility, way, way up and down. He started the year great. And I was talking about that at that point. And I said, I think he's going to, regress in a major way. And he did. But now he's regressed back. His last 2 starts were excellent. What to expect from here? I think he should be okay, good enough to I did take a shot with the under, a 9 at minus 120, because, again, Blanco's looking promising. He was good in the majors. when he was here. So I'm expecting to have roughly a short quality start and then a strong bullpen behind him. So Miami team total under also had some value. Didn't know if I really wanted to pull a trigger on Houston because Miami, is a quality team, and easily Miami could get an outright win here and also have the full game and their team total unders cash. A Miami 4-2, 3-2 kind of win. They did lose, though, Otto Lopez, right, onto an injury on Sunday. And I just assumed he's going to be out. We can check the lineups, but that's he's an all-star. That's not very nice to see for Miami. Although he is, let me see, at RotoWire they're expecting him. Let's see. I don't know if he's going to be in there or not. But and no, he's out. Right? Yes. Okay. So that's not good. He's their all-star shortstop. He's out. Yeah, so let's see where this line moved. But look at that though. Despite that, a huge move towards Miami. Yeah, what is Alvarez out or something? What's going on here? Oh, must be out for Houston. Oh, there's Alvarez. All right. Yeah. So about a 20 whatever cent move in favor of Miami. I mean, Miami obviously, before the leading up to the All-Star break was a train, a very impressive team, just the kind of team that was always in it, and when they were in it, found out a way to win. But, this one, my numbers liked, the Miami team total under, full game under, and didn't like Houston at the line. But maybe now that it's headed even further down, maybe it does. I don't know. The problem is that Jansen Junk is just such volatility. I mean, if you take an under 9, he could get shellacked. He really could. But, the numbers liked it. We'll make it official. Even though it's a high total, makes me nervous, but we'll make it official. Under 9 minus 121, current line of Pinnacle. We will make that one an official pick. My numbers also like Miami team total under 4.5. Team total under 4.5. And we'll make that one official as well. The numbers like it. It makes me nervous to bet against Miami, especially with the big market move in their favor. But whatever. We'll take it. Miami Marlins, full game. Team total under 4.5 minus 134. That's an official pick. Hopefully Blanco doesn't come in here and get absolutely ripped, which is possible, his first start back. It's just I don't think he's going to go deep. He had good rehab starts. That's probably what happens. He probably gets. That's why the line moved that way, probably. All right, we'll see. Maybe he gets crushed and Jansen Junk has another incredibly impressive start and it sneaks under. Maybe Blanco comes in and gives up 4 runs in 3 innings, and then Miami gets shut out the rest of the way and they win it 4-2, 4-3. All right, those are 2 official plays here. Certainly unknown Blanco, but some promising signs. Junk, an unknown, and some not very promising signs, but nice bullpen edge for Houston, and that's it. Those are the 2 things that we're going to take. All right, we got 4 more games on the card, right? Or no, wait, how many more? 3 more games. What I just 4 more games on the card. All right, I think we'll do this. Next one, Washington and Colorado. The Nationals in Colorado. This is a tough one. Andrew Alvarez against Freeland. Colorado, like a small home dog, and then a pretty high total. No real wind here, but hot, right? Mid to low 90s. And, Washington won 2 of 3 in that crazy series against the A's in Sacramento. And now they go on to Coors. And Colorado lost 2 of 3 against Cincinnati. Obviously, overall, Washington the better team. And the fact that Washington has a crappy pen kind of gets mitigated here because Colorado also doesn't have an inspiring pen. And it just games at Coors, bullpen vulnerabilities sometimes just mean a lot less. My numbers did indicate some value with Alvarez under 5.5 hits. Alvarez can be good, but he can have control issues. He does get grounders and suppresses home runs, which could be advantageous here. And even when he's not that good, a lot of times he just doesn't give up hits. So his hits, and he doesn't go deep. So his hits prop made no sense to me, actually. Statistically 5.5, because again, when he's good, he suppresses hits. When he's not good, it's a lot of times it's not because of hits. And overall, he doesn't go deep. I know it's a game at Coors, but, his hits prop, I think I'll have to give that one official. And on the other side, you got Freeland, vulnerable, even on the road. He did get 9 strikeouts at the Giants in his last start. So this is a bit of an uncertainty here. Normally, earlier in the year, I was auto betting Freeland's under strikeouts props, even when they were very low. Like all those Freeland under 3.5 strikeouts at big plus money lines, I was taking those, and they were cashing more often than not. But his strikeouts have improved recently, and he does have okay numbers at home relative to his road numbers. So he knows how to be a little less shitty in at Coors. Let's see if anyone's liking anything in this one. I think I'm going to have to give Alvarez under 5.5 hits, even though it's very nerve wracking just to do that, and beyond that. It's nerve-wracking to take any kind of a prop like that at Coors, but I think I have to. I mean, he gives up walks, and he gets grounders, and does tend to suppress hits. I just don't understand why it's such a high prop relative to my numbers. But we'll make it official. Andrew Alvarez under 5.5 hits allowed, -103 current line Pinnacle. All right, we'll do it. Let's see where this line has moved. Colorado still a dog. Maybe a very small market move to Washington, maybe, but basically no move there. And the total, wow, the total's gotten bet up. Oh, not that much. A little bit, yeah. Oh, yeah, it did. It was like 11.5 juice to the over, and now it's still 11.5, a little bit more juice to the over. So it's a high total. Freeland, again, vulnerable, even on the road. If someone wanted to take Washington -1 or -1.5, I certainly could not talk them off of it. I'm just going to make Alvarez under hits an official play. Freeland under 4.5 strikeouts is extremely tempting, but I won't take that one. And I think we'll just leave it at that. Let's see if anyone in the comment section has anything on this interesting one here. Let's see. Yeah, what's Freeland's strikeout prop? Freeland's strikeout prop. Yeah, 4.5. Tempting as hell. Like, he got 9 strikeouts at the Giants in his last start. Then he bid 90s here, though. You know, that is. I don't care. I know Freeland's a bulldog and he has an awesome attitude, but that's a tough assignment, man. And he could get absolutely shellacked. Here. All right, we'll make that one an official pick. Freeland under 4.5 strikeouts, -141. Current line Caesars. I know he got 9 strikeouts in his last start at San Francisco. Maybe that's even more reason to like it here. Under 4.5 strikeouts, -141. Freeland, official pick. Maybe he'll get 1 1/3 innings, strike out all 4 of them, and give up 9 runs and get chased because of that. All right, let's see. Yeah, zombie obese Miz under outs. I think that might be a lock. L to the O to the C to the K, baby. That's the first time you've ever heard me even use that word in these shows over the past 3 years. But that might be one. That really might be one. All right. That's it for the Colorado game. Now let's move on. The A's and Arizona. Where are we here? A's and Arizona. Hold on. All right, we got 3 more games, 7 more minutes. All right. Springs against Bratt. Arizona, big favorite here. Roof's going to be closed. The A's lost 2 or 3 to Washington, that crazy home series. The first game they won like 23-2. Next game they lost like 15-3 or whatever they were. Now they have on the road to Arizona. Arizona, they seem to be playing better now. They won 2 of 3 against St. Louis. I think I'd give a big bullpen edge to Arizona here, but there's other numbers that are more predictive where that might not be the case. In general, though, I think I have both bullpens rated quite highly here. And maybe a live bet on the under after the starters are out. Springs against Bratt. Springs, has been bad, but a lot less bad on the road. And Bratt, doesn't inspire confidence either here for Arizona. He's been up and down in the minors. His recent start was pretty good. He's been better in short appearances recently in the minors. So this is tough. Statistically, there's an edge with Springs over 15.5 outs of plus money. And statistically an edge with the A's first half at plus money. And there has been a huge move towards the A's, which is not a surprise at all. Arizona was like -160 on the overnight. Now Arizona's like -135 or so. And that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if I can bet into that line right now, but I think I can give the Springs outs prop over. Springs pitching outs prop. We'll make that over. Make that official pick. Springs over 15.5 outs plus 112 current line at Pinnacle. That's an official pick. The other stuff, it's just tough because the line has moved. Oh, right. And of course, the Diamondbacks coming back off of that big win against St. Louis. Huge, 7-run comeback. So psychologically, that probably plays into something here. Let's see what people like. Zombie Obese likes Arizona on the run line and Springs over 2.5 earned runs. Okay. Springs definitely is iffy in general, but he's been less bad on the road. I will take his outs prop at plus money, and would have to be leaning A's first 5 money line as well. Let's see. Yeah, but it's only a little bit more expensive for the A's first 5 here at Pinnacle. This is tough, man. I wish I could give the opening lines here. But I can't. Maybe the A's -1 at plus 160 or so. Very tempting. Let's see what else I can get. There's a lot of stuff that was had borderline had value, and now that the line is moved, maybe not. Also, the under had some value. Let's see where that line is moved. The total is total's gotten bet up. Or no, just a little bit. No, actually gotten bet down just a little bit, just a teeny bit. Yeah, lean to the under. Not going to pull the trigger on that. And this is just a very interesting game. I guess I'll just stick with the Springs outs prop. That's the one that had the most value, according to my numbers. Oh, man, the A's. That's so tempting, man. Look at that. All right, I'll hold off. On the A's, though. I'll hold off on the A's, I guess. What do you think, comment section? Even after the move. Should I make it official? Add it onto my record? Nah, I won't do that. Just the Springs outs prop. And that's it. 2 more games to go on the card. Cincinnati and Seattle is the next one. This is an interesting one. Seattle is a pretty big favorite here. Cincinnati was struggling. They had all kinds of personnel issues in the first half. They started off the second half winning 2 of 3 at Coors. Now they're moving into Seattle. And Seattle won 2 of 3 against San Francisco. And now they're facing Cincinnati. Abbott against Kirby. Seattle, I would give a solid bullpen edge to. But Abbott, iffy in July, but they were tough assignments. And he might get a break here. His walks are always an issue, and he's been a lot better on the road. His peripherals are questionable, though. But he's been a lot better on the road. And Kirby, started off the year questionably, been better recently. Never really lights out, but gives 2 or 3 runs a start now. And his strikeouts have also been increasing quite a bit in recent starts and recent months, and that's a very good sign. Numbers indicated small lean to Abbott over 16.5 outs. He often doesn't go deep, but when he's facing easier assignments like this, he's much more likely to. So over 16.5 outs, -120 had some value, according to what I was looking at. And both unders, first half under and full game under. The under was 8. Juice to the under. Let's see where the line is right now. It's and it's moved pretty significantly. Well, not a bit to the under. It was like -120 or so on the overnight line. Now it's -125 or 38. And also the first five under has some value as well. And we'll do it. We'll take the full game under as an official pick. Under 8 -122 current line Pinnacle. Make that one official. Cincinnati, Seattle. Full game under 8 -122. That's an official pick. First 5 under also has some value statistically. Don't really want to double up though, and don't want to buy up to 4.5 at -150 or 160 or so. Definitely treacherous. There's still some bats in these lineups, and both these starters are reliable, but could easily get lit up at any time. The Abbott outs prop again is interesting. Let's see where it is right now, and see if I want to add that one on to the official slate here. Yeah, it hasn't really moved much. Hino ball like the Reds first 5. Yeah. Again, give Abbott a lot of credit. I would agree with that. Reds under 4.5. Zombie Obese. I assume he's talking about the team total under there. Yeah, let's see where we are. And then we got one more game, and then we will wrap this up. What do I want to make official? Let me just check these lineups, make sure that everything's copacetic. Yeah, the Seattle lineup. There it is. Yeah, there it is. All right. We'll make the Abbott over 16.5 outs -120 an official pick. There you go there. Abbott over 16.5 outs -120. That's an official pick. And as far as the first five, man, it is tempting to take Cincinnati first five plus a half minus 116, isn't it? My numbers like Abbott here. And Kirby good. Kirby good, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. Maybe just can't take the team total under. That is the thing, isn't it? That is the thing. That's the thing. All right, I guess we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it right there. Leave it with the house prop, not try to force anything. But definitely, I'll make it a lean. Officially not a pick. Cincinnati Reds, first five, plus a half run, minus 116, current line Pinnacle. B-rated pick, officially, non-official pick, but an official lean. There you go. Absolutely. And we'll take that. And then that's it. And then the last game on the card is St. Louis and the Angels. Leahy against Soriano, and St. Louis is, team that they blew a big lead in their last game. Sorry if I mentioned the Arizona. I think I said that Arizona blew the lead against St. Louis. Arizona came back against St. Louis. St. Louis is a team that lost. They blew the huge lead in their last game. Now they're going up against the Angels. Leahy against Soriano. Leahy can be vulnerable, but last four appearances were awesome. And Soriano, of course, started the year awesome, but his May and June came way back down to earth. Now the break might help him a little bit. That's a hard to quantify factor here. He was definitely legitimately great. He expanded his pitching repertoire in the beginning of the year, and it was paying big dividends. And I remember when that was happening, I was like, I'm going to bet into this until further notice, until we're seeing signs that we shouldn't anymore. And the signs came in June or in May. In May they came. And so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. This is a tough one. I definitely want to take a shot with St. Louis here. Leahy should be good. Also, his over 4.5 strikeouts, even at a big favorite line, has some value statistically, although that's a little bit iffy because in general he's not a big strikeout pitcher, but his strikeout numbers are way better on the road. Let's see. And let's see. Zombie Obese says value on Soriano outs. It's just too, when you have uncertainty with a starting pitcher like that, I do like to bet into it at times. And when you're dealing with hard to quantify factors, and of course I like to try to take big underdog lines if I can, but the props for a guy like that, I stay way off of. I like, certainty more than anything when it comes to props. Yeah, that's a tough one with Soriano. I did look at it. Wouldn't even consider it. Let's see what the market has done here, though. Yeah, wow, look at that. Big move in St. Louis's favor. Almost a 20-cent move. It's almost now even. The Angels still a teeny favorite, but they were like minus 125 or so on the overnight line, and the total's gotten bet up about 15 cents or so. So the market saying Soriano should get hit at least a little bit. I can't disagree with that. I would love to pull the trigger on St. Louis here. I really would. I would love to yeah, he's Cardinals back. Mind me that prop. Yeah, absolutely. But the Soriano uncertainty is way bigger than Cardinals coming back down to earth and all that stuff. It's like we really don't know what we're going to get with him. We'll see. Maybe someone does. I don't. I don't here at the All-Star break. Man, I would love to pull the trigger on like Leahy over strikeouts prop and or the St. Louis line even after the move. Let's see where the strikeout. Yeah. Oh, wow. So the Leahy strikeouts prop has gone down, which, yeah, that's a little bit surprising. I don't love to see that. Don't really love to see that. But let's check this out. Don't really love to see it. All right. We will, we'll make an official lean. Not a pick, but a lean. Leahy over 4.5 strikeouts, minus 135, current line. Pinnacle. That's not an official pick. That's an official lean. And as far as St. Louis, God, they're so obviously a good spot here for them. And probably just like the first half is better. Although it's more expensive for the Angels at Pinnacle first half than full game, which is very interesting. Very interesting. I know that some metrics would say that the Angels don't have a good bullpen. Well, their bullpen's been terrible at home. But overall, they have some promising signs. So this is an interesting – all right, you know what? I'm going to pass. Definitely would love to pull the trigger on the Cardinals in one way, shape, or form, but I'm not going to. Nothing official, just a lean with the Leahy over strikeouts prop, and that does it for today's card. Thanks so much to everyone in the comment section, and we'll see you again on Wednesday, baby.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so-so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pop Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam, Dutch Wine Time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.